We've taken a trip through the Reser Stadium parking lot all fall, and this might be one of the best ones we've found. Let me introduce you to Lane Harris's tailgate and all of the fans that have come and made their way out for this one. I'm going to show you something. It's a different type of storm in Moda. It's a whiteout, 19,980 strong. That was making the rounds on social media. I asked Mo Harkless about it after the game. He laughed and said, this picture right here pretty much is Dame in a nutshell.
We've decided that it's roughly between a 180 and a 200-mile fastball equivalent. So pray for me. It should be fun.
We actually did break down the math for real. Stone's fastest spike that day clocked in at 58 miles an hour, with a distance of about 10 feet to cover. The equation came out to a reaction time of 0.12 seconds from the time it hits her hand to the time it reaches the player digging the ball. The result, when you put a hapless sports director in front,
Okay.
pretty close. Not so great, but eventually muscle memory did take over.
The face.
I could tell you about Peyton Pritchard, who spent his senior year winning a 6A state title at West Lynn, who's been in this place before, went to a Final Four his freshman year, dealt with the frustration of this season, and calls this particular moment one of the highlights of his career.
Walk me through the 48 to 72 hours between getting into San Francisco for the Red Box Bowl. Mark Richt decides that he's going to step down. Your name comes up with a bunch of reports about Miami. Manny gets the job. Walk me through that time frame there.
Doing like the MTV Cribs version of it, and oh my goodness, Duck fans, you're gonna need to avert your eyes. Put it down. Oh, that's cold-blooded.
The Big 12 and Big 10 have followed the NCAA's lead. Their conference tournaments this week are going to be going with no fans and the same stipulations that the NCAA has put forward for their tournaments. So for the Pac-12, they have to make a decision, whether that be tonight or tomorrow before the next set of games start, if they are going to follow suit as well. It was the right decision, but it was unfortunate that it had to happen this way and with the speed that it did over the last 48 hours. But for me, to you at home as fans, the memories that you have made, the things that you have seen, the plays that you have cheered, that is what will remain now. No virus can take that away from you, from the kids, from the coaches, anybody that has been around these programs throughout this winter, through the 4 years of these senior classes.
Your guess is as good as mine, Kate, because that was something all of us were dying to know in the post-game press conferences. What exactly was the strategy behind Oregon seemingly throwing Anthony Brown and Tyler Shuck out there at random?
Shuck, of course, remembers the Fiesta Bowl very well. He's come to the games quite a few times as a kid. He was actually walking into his seats at State Farm Stadium when DeAnthony Thomas housed the opening kickoff of the 2013 Fiesta Bowl, in which Oregon defeated Kansas State. He's hoping to have a similar finish himself and finally get that one magical win over Brock Purdy.
My dad was a U of O alum. That made me a Duck fan growing up. And here is the man, the myth, the legend, my father. Dad, the last time Oregon played Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl, you guys opted to not bring me. You can't get rid of me this time, so I have to ask, what does it mean for the Ducks to be back here in this game?
It means everything to come back to the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all, with my son. I never would have thought.
9 Sports with Andrew Haubner.
Sports is worth nothing. Sports is worth everything. We all might have known that before all this happened, but never has it been more apparent than it is right now. We feel the loss, for many of us, like we would losing something as vital as a friend or a piece of innocence that we clung so tightly to. Athletes around the country feel this even more than fans or those of us that have the luck and privilege to make our livelihoods talking about it. In these moments of grief, we turn to memories, the one thing powerful enough to take moments of emptiness and replace them with joy, to do what our moms told us to do, right? Simply turn a frown upside down. We hope to accomplish that with this senior series. That isn't what drew their true loathing of Larry Scott. Instead, it was the things that made the conference a laughingstock. It was the officiating scandal and subsequent protection of Woody Dixon. It was financing your own house with a loan from the conference, a loan that, to the best of everyone's knowledge, has still yet to be repaid. Gifting millions of dollars in bonuses to yourself and other executives during a pandemic while simultaneously gutting the crown jewel of your tenure, that vaunted conference network. I'm thinking of those people tonight. Friends, colleagues, Former interns of this very sports staff that found themselves adrift for a time in the wake of that mismanagement. There's a lot of cleanup ahead, but the Pac-12, such as it is, appears up to the task. And for the first time in a while, there's hope for the Conference of Champions. But to get where the Pac-12 aspires to be, they need to be led by a champion, rather than a con man and a clown. We'll be right back. Since the turn of the millennium, Oregon quarterbacks have stood on opposite sidelines in the NFL just twice, but in both occurrences, one of those quarterbacks didn't play. To find a game between two former Duck QBs in which both threw at least one pass, you'd have to go back to 1960, when George Shaw and Norm Van Brocklin played. It was a game between the Eagles and the Giants. 60 years and 2 or so weeks later, we were treated to something great in Las Vegas. What made it even better was we didn't even know we'd get it at the start. Initially, it was just another Thursday night game. Raiders versus Chargers, and there's our first Duck QB. Justin Herbert hitting Hunter Henry for the opening touchdown of the game. Chargers take a 7-0 lead to start things off. But then on 3rd and goal, something happened. Derek Carr, scrambling in the pocket, pulls up lame. Looks like he pulled something in the groin, so who else comes in but Marcus Mariota? The long journey in the league took him back under center, and that's when the magic happened. Mariota to Darren Waller for the touchdown. Let the duel of the Ducks begin. Just before the half is where we move. Herbert now. He hits Ty Johnson. This one, a score. This is what he's done in the NFL all season long. It's why he's probably the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. But Mariota showed he's got a lot in the tank. 4th quarter, 4th and 1. Look at the athleticism in that throw. And then on 3rd and goal later on, we get the Flying Hawaiian 2.0. Good to have you back, Mr. Mariota. The team loves it. He loves it. Derek Carr on the sideline loves it too, but this is still a Chargers game, and if you've watched the Chargers all year, you know the special teams have been suboptimal. Michael Badgley, that's his 2nd missed kick to win within the last 4 minutes in regulation in this game, so we go to overtime. Mariota rolls out. You can question the play call here, mostly just a great defensive play. Vegas settles for the field goal. Groans from the Raiders, groans from Gruden. Now it's Herbie's turn. Can the Chargers do this after a year of close losses? Herbie loads up, lets it go long. If this were in Autzen, the place would be going wild. And what better way to end this thing than an Oregon quarterback punching it in? In this game, by the way, Justin Herbert tied the NFL record for most pass touchdowns by a rookie quarterback. Chargers won 30-27, but the real winner was Duck Nation. Here is what Mariota and Herbert had to say after the game.
It was special for me. You know, I've gotten to know.
Even for a fleeting moment, as the toll of the bell signifies the end of her chemo treatments, Danielle Bixby and her family are all smiles. Days later, they would celebrate this step with her other family, Oregon Ducks volleyball.
Team Impact reached out to our athletic department, so they reached out to us and said, would you be interested? And that was a no-brainer for us to get involved. They told us about Danielle, and we were really excited.
So the day we first met, they paired me with the team, and then I went to go see them, and then we celebrated me being on the team by getting ice cream.
Joining the team, which happened in conjunction with nonprofit Team Impact, came at a very welcome time after difficult first months of treatment.
We weren't even home for 30 minutes, and from Portland to here, and about 30 minutes being home, she said, I really want to die. I'm ready to go see the Angels.
And it's hard. I mean, how do you explain to your 5- and 2-year-old that their auntie has cancer? I mean, it's just not something anybody wants to say.
But instead of thinking of this as just a photo op, Oregon volleyball stepped into Danielle's life in a huge way.
There was a Tuesday that she was really sick at chemo, and I was texting Erica in August.
I remember getting that text, and she sent a picture with her passed out in her little wagon too.
And she could not stop throwing up.
And it was so disheartening, and so I had everybody in each individual room like, all right, make a video for Danielle and we're gonna send it to her.
That I love and miss you, and you're kicking treatment butt right now.
I know how sick she was. I mean, it was the hardest chemo that we've gone through, and all of a sudden a video would come through and the girl was like ear to ear grin.
So the fact that we can be there and support her, by all means we need to do that. We signed her to the team, and our team especially is family.
The girls have really put a seed of joy in her that when someone's struggling with cancer or any illness, they might not have.
The Ducks' stomp-out cancer match against Arizona State celebrated their little duck, while Danielle and her mother Shannon returned the favor.
I was like, Danielle, let's make dolls for all the girls. She's like running up the stairs, yeah, let's do it.
The day that I gave them the dolls, you remember that? They were like so happy. Everybody cried with happy tears.
She wrote individual notes to each girl on the team.
Dear August, I love your buns and that you are so nice. Your hair is beautiful and amazing. Thank you for loving me. Love, Danielle.
It just snapped us right back into it to understand that we can be disappointed, but there's so many bigger things out there, and this is the big thing that we're doing right now.
Ringing that bell was a respite for all involved, but Duck players and coaches don't see their role ending here.
It was just an overwhelming piece to know that they love her, and you can see how genuine it is.
I've made a life-lasting connection with this kid, and to me, that's worth fighting for in my everyday life.
We are family. If this has become a family now.
As long as she wants to stay around Eugene, she's always a part of our team. You know, again, there are relationships that are being formed that are lifelong relationships, just like with any teammate.
And nor does Danielle.
They're really important to me, and I want to fight harder than ever.